everyone was saying it was all over for Xbox just as early as last week, and now we have a little bit of a different story with this news right here. Now, again, I think that what Microsoft has been kind of building up to and alluding to has been some fantastic announcements and things like that, and this is just one of them. Now, a lot of people were thinking that the Activision deal was completely dead in the water, and for all intents and purposes, it didn't look great with what was happening, but now it looks like they're getting a big boost in a kind of suspecting way. So now I think people don't really know what to think, but I do think that we're seeing something that's a bit unprecedented right now, and I got to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen in the future with this, but it is nice to see that Microsoft is making these positive moves and making sure that, you know, they get things going in a way that fans can get behind and get excited about things again, which I think is super important. Like, why this is like the type of stuff that you really need to do, in my opinion, to get people excited about what you're doing in general as a company. So hopefully we continue to see like the positive movement from them. Like for me personally, I think this is really exciting. I want to get into it because a lot of people are talking about this. It was big news when the CMA declined Microsoft the ability to purchase Activision, and now according to this, which is a leak, EU regulators will reportedly clear Microsoft's Activision acquisition next week. May 15th is said to be the likeliest date for the announcement, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. According to Reuters sources who claim May 15th is the likeliest date that EU antitrust regulators will announce the decision. The European Commission has confirmed plans to publish its verdict by May 22nd, and it has previously been claimed that Microsoft's willingness to offer game licensing deals to rivals is likely to address its antitrust concerns. Last month, the UK's Competition and Markets Authority, or the CMA, said it was preventing the deal due to concerns about its impact on the future of cloud gaming market. Microsoft and Activision, though, quickly confirmed their intention to appeal the CMA ruling, which the former has called, quote, bad for Britain, and the latter has labeled irrational. Microsoft has reportedly hired a lawyer known for repeatedly defeating the EU regulators in competition cases to lead its appeal against the CMA's decision. The Telegraph, via Yahoo Finance, reported last week that the company had appointed Daniel Beard and planned to lodge an appeal at the UK's Competition Tribunal in a matter of days. Now, back in December, the U.S. Federal Trade Commission announced it was suing in a bid to block Microsoft's acquisition over antitrust concerns, but the merger has so far been approved in Saudi Arabia, Brazil, Serbia, Chile, Japan, South Africa, and the Ukraine. So this would be a big step forward. And people go, well, what would happen if they do approve this? Then what's going to happen? What's going to be the deal? Well, let's say they do approve this deal, right? And it gets through. They're probably going to have to fight the FTC in court. The FTC, especially here in the U.S., doesn't really have a case to stop this, right? To me, it looks like, and this is just my opinion, it looks like there's like a little bit of colluding and things like that. It never made a whole lot of sense to not allow this to go through. I think the whole thing with the CMA is incredibly flimsy as well, based on everything that we've seen, because you know what? How is the cloud situation really worth all of this? Like, Microsoft isn't even like heavy on cloud gaming. They're not building it up as something, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think people are really kind of trying to turn this thing into an anti-Xbox thing or an anti-whatever. But for me personally, I think they really need to, I think, kind of understand where they're coming from with this, you know. A lot of people don't want to see Microsoft get any type of foothold. They just want to see Sony continue to kind of toe the line and be the leader and be the market leader or whatever. So it is nice to see that Microsoft is out there fighting. And when you got their kind of money and you got that kind of fortitude, I think that that's a brilliant thing to do. Like, who's going to sit there and say, hey, that's a stupid thing to do? Now, I think it should really come down to we need to hear something soon about this if they have a realistic chance. If they win, if this one really does go through, because people will go, well, didn't we hear that about the last one? It wasn't by routers like this. It wasn't reported by multiple outlets. It was just kind of assumed. And then, of course, they went and denied it over some baseless stuff. Realistically, what happened was they couldn't think of a legit reason to do it, and so they went with a reason that people wouldn't really understand, or what what they were hoping were that people wouldn't understand. And I think it was really just a bid to protect Sony, which makes no sense. Like, why on earth would you protect Sony with this type of stuff? That never made any sense to me whatsoever, as to why you would protect the market leader the way that they obviously are. And again, Microsoft has all these ideas and things like that. It's like, I don't know why people are so against this. Like, I honestly don't. Like, Sony, you think they would be okay with it? Like, Microsoft isn't going to pull it. It's like a Minecraft deal to them. Obviously, the whole Nintendo crowd getting the chance to play Call of Duty or whatever is huge. All these other places getting the chance to play it however they want, whether it be via streaming or whatever, I think is a very smart thing. But just the way that people in general have been kind of reacting to this, I find it to be pretty incredulous. So, I do hope that this thing is approved and then they continue funding. I to be honest with you, I've always been at about 95% sure that it would go through. And then, of course, what happened with the CMA kind of tipped that, and then I was more or less kind of like at about pretty much now about a 25% chance of it going through. But I still think that's something that is worthwhile for them to fight for. Apparently, even a big company like EA has like zero issues with this going through. EA said they'll, even if it does go through, they'll still be the leader. They're pretty indifferent on it, to be honest with you. So what's interesting is, in a Q&A following the company's latest earnings call, Andrew Wilson was asked what he thinks about the implications of the deal for the video game industry, and he said, "This is a question I get a lot. I'm never allowed to answer that question, as it turns out. What I would say is I don't know what's going to happen with Activision and Microsoft. Again, we continue to be Microsoft's biggest partner. I think we're the #1 publisher on their platform. So whether that deal goes through or not is not really material to us broadly. We think we have a scale with our network, our IP, and our talent to continue to navigate the future and lead the future of entertainment and compete in a marketplace, regardless of whether that deal goes through or not." Wilson also further suggested that industry mergers are inevitable and that he wants EA to be in a good position should it ever be involved in one. Longer term, will there be industry consolidation? Will there be a broader entertainment consolidation? If I was predicting the future over the long term, I would say that that's almost a certainty at some level. I would love for us to have a scale to be meaningful consolidation in that space. I think we have tremendous assets with respect in the future of entertainment, but as it stands today, I think that we're indifferent as to whether Microsoft's acquisition Activision Blizzard goes through or not. We feel like we have an incredible strategy. We feel like we have an incredible opportunity, blah, blah, blah. So basically saying they don't really care. They're going to continue to do their business the way it is. And from the sounds of it, he hopes that they get consolidated one day into a bigger company. So again, deal's not dead yet. We'll see what happens. I'm going to link these articles. Let me know what you think. Are you tired of hearing about it, or do you want to actually see something happen in this? Let me know. Please like the video. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up.